and the most fearful, atqa. This is not muttaqi. Muttaqi is someone who has taqwa. Atqa is the one who has the most taqwa. Someone who has the most taqwa is called atqa. This is, sirat afdalu tafdeel. Allah says, and the one who has the most taqwa will be warded away from it. Far away from it, he'll put to the side. Janaba, to be on the side. Tajannub, to be warded off, meaning to move to the side. A harmful thing was coming, you move to the side. Tajneeb, which is the word here, he will be taken far, far, far away from the harmful. He will be moved all the way to the side, to the security. Okay? So وَسَيُجَنَّبُهَا, and he will soon be turned far away. Who will be turned far away? Al-Atqa. By the way, turned away from it, the most righteous of them will be turned away from it. Al-Wahidi says, Al-Atqa Abu Bakr as-Siddiq fi qawli jami' al-mufassirin intaha. Al-Atqa refers to Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu, because these ayat, when he gave and he was fearful of Allah, is in the context when he freed a group of slaves from the kuffar who used to torture them. Muslim slaves, he freed them, and most of the mufassirun say that's where these ayat came down. And that's their historical context. Now, this la yaslaha illa al-ashqa, there's something really beautiful in this. Something really amazing. No one will go in it except al-ashqa. And who will be saved from it? Al-atqa. But when Allah talks about being saved, He doesn't say, la yujannabuha illa al-atqa. No one will be saved from it except the people of the most taqwa. He didn't put it like that. He said, when it came to burning, He said, no one will be entered in it except the worst. But when it came to being saved, He didn't say the only people that will be saved are the people with the most taqwa. He didn't put it like that. He just said the people of the most taqwa will be saved from it. Now by saying it like that, we learn they are not the only ones who will be saved from it. People who have less than the most taqwa will also have hope. It's a mercy of Allah that He doesn't keep consistent the style of language and say, La yujannabuha illa al-atqa. SubhanAllah, it's a mercy of Allah Azza wa Jalla. Because if those were the words, that would mean, unless you have the highest form of taqwa, you're done. Right? That's what that would mean. So the language of the Qur'an is very, very, very precise. Very precise. Allah, He says, the most righteous, the people of the most taqwa will be saved, but by saying that, He's saying, others will be saved too. May Allah make us from the people of the most taqwa. So how do you become a person of the most taqwa? الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى. The one who gave his money. Now the thing is, in Arabic you expect لِيَتَزَكَّى. He gave his money so that he may be cleansed. So that he may clean himself up. Remember, the previous surah told us, who is the one who succeeded? قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. Zakah. And this surah is teaching, you want to become clean? You want to purify yourself? How do you do it? يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ يَتَزَكَّى. He gave his wealth, but what the translation I'm trying to get at is, he gave his wealth in order to cleanse himself. Right? But the in order to part would have been the letter lam. الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ لِيَتَزَكَّى. But there's no lam here. You know what that is teaching us? Give wealth, you won't purify yourself, who's going to purify you? Allah is going to purify you. Giving of wealth will not purify you in and of itself. In the end, Allah Azza wa Jalla will purify. This is not cause and effect. So what this yatazakka illustrates is, in hopes that he will cleanse himself. In hopes of cleaning himself, he gives wealth. That Allah will clean him. That Allah will cleanse the filth inside of him. Remember in the previous session, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about that dua where we ask Allah to clean us. Right? أَنْتَ خَيْرُ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. You're the best of those who can cleanse it. So here we're learning that lesson again. So what's the purpose of giving wealth? Cleaning oneself up as a gift of Allah Azza wa Jalla. You give the gift to the poor and Allah cleans you up. And Allah cleans you up, subhanAllah. May Allah make us all cleansed. The other benefit of this ayah, it's so beautiful. You know the surah began, فَأَمَّا مَنْ أَعْطَى, the one who gave a lot. But here we don't read, الَّذِي يُعْطِي مَالَهُ. What do we read? الَّذِي يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ. He gives. Allah doesn't say He gives a lot. He says to cleanse yourself, the condition isn't to give a lot now. To cleanse yourself, just start giving. And you know, there in the previous setting, أَعْطَى, it was left open. Allah didn't say أَعْطَى مَالَهُ. He gave a lot of His wealth. Allah didn't mention wealth. So what do you give a lot of if you don't have wealth? You give your time, you give your effort, you give your youth, everything. But if Allah mentioned mal there, what about the poor people? They don't have a lot to give. But when it came to giving, He didn't say giving a lot here, He just said giving. Here He mentioned mal. يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ. Why? Because even the poorest person can give something. Everyone can give something. If you only have 2 dates, just take a scrape, the peel off, give that. Give a seed. Give something. Give something. Allah doesn't ask you to give a lot because you may not have a lot. And how do we know that? Allah doesn't say, يُعْطِي مَالَهُ. He says, يُؤْتِي مَالَهُ. But when it came to giving in general, which means give of your loves, give of your aspirations, give of your youth, give of your talent, and give of your wealth if you have, give of your life, then you, a'ta, no limitation, no objects placed. Here an object has been placed, which is an amazing illustration, again, of giving of wealth. Even just keep giving a little, don't stop. Make it a habit. Every time you come to masjid, just drop something off. Give some to the needy, give something to sadaqah box. Just make it a habit. Keep cleansing your wealth. Keep losing the love of it. Tell your children why they should do it. Every time you give them a gift, teach them to give sadaqah. Teach them to be grateful. Teach them to be giving people. We're giving our kids too many toys. Too many toys. And they're not giving anything to anyone. So much so some kid comes over to your house and they grab one of your kids' toys. What happens to your child? They have a hernia right there. He's holding my doll, he's holding my teddy bear. You know, we're teaching them greed. This is the age where we have to teach them what? Giving. Because if they learn greed now, it's never going to leave. It's never going to leave. You think your kids are good just because they come into masjid? This attitude of giving and not giving is the key in this surah. It's the key to have a clean person. So teach your children to give. Give to each other, give to neighbors, give in sadaqah, right? Train them and give of the things they love. لَن تَنَالُوا الْبِرَّ حَتَّى تُنْفِقُوا مِمَّا تُحِبُّونَ. Teach yourself this, teach your children this. You know, for Eid, buy new clothes, right? And give half of them to somebody else. Or buy new clothes and give them to somebody else altogether. We bought this, you know, because Allah will give us even better. Yeah? How much better? A lot better. Really? Yeah. Teach your children that. Make them imagine what Allah will give them. Right? Give them a love of that. This is a very hard thing to do, but we have to do it. We have to do it. Especially when they're young. Once they become teenagers, forget it. The ship has sailed. The email has been sent. I think we need to make a new expression. Right? The ship has sailed is old. So the new one for me is the email has been sent. So you can't unsend. Right? It's gone. So may Allah Azza wa Jal give us the ability to become a giving people and to instill that into our children. وَمَا لِأَحَدٍ عِنْدَهُ مِن نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى. Beautiful ayah. He says he gave to cleanse himself, and not just, he didn't have anyone in front of him that had done him any favor that should be paid back. In other words, you know how you went and stayed at somebody's house, so you feel kind of obligated to them, so you send them a gift, or you send them a card, you send them something. It's not just about sadaqah, but giving someone you feel we should give them. You know, it's societal pressure. You go visit family abroad, what do you say? You should give them something, because they're going to feel bad, they're going to say something. So you're not giving them out of love. You're giving them because you don't want to hear it afterwards. Right? This is the attitude, right? This is not the attitude of giving in this case. This is giving for who? For what? يَتَزَكَّى إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى. This is the reason for giving. And then what happens in our families is there's a needy member of the family, and you're about to give them, and your mother comes to you, and your aunt comes to you, and your cousin. Don't give them. Remember those people? Last year they left a little bit in their plate, or they said this one thing about us that we should never forgive. You know, and they come to you and they stop you from giving. Your own family, the first people you should give, your own family stops you from giving. We have to give not for what the consequences will be. We have to give to cleanse ourselves. And if the worldly consequences are bad, that in and of itself cleanses us, because it cleans our intentions. It cleans up our intentions. Because we're not doing it because we're going to become popular. We're doing it, now we're going to, don't do it to get in trouble. Do it to seek Allah's pleasure. But in the end, don't let the fear of consequence stop you from giving. And stop you from, this sort of attitude. Now, the meaning of the ayah is, and there was not a single person that had a blessing for him, a gift for him, that should be paid back. نِعْمَةٍ تُجْزَى. Another meaning is, how can there ever be anyone who is going to pay him back for what he gave? In other words, when you give somebody, is there anybody who's going to be able to pay you back anyway? Nobody. In the end, nobody knows how hard it was for you. Like if you gave somebody $2, they paid you $2 back. But maybe them giving you $2 is a lot easier for them. And you giving them $2 was a lot harder for you. They know the physical value of the money. They don't know the effort, the difficulty, the entire situation. They can't quantify that. Jaza means to give someone absolutely, completely, so there's no feeling of dissatisfaction left. Actually, in reality, nobody can do that for you. Nobody can do that for you. And that's why the next ayah makes such perfect strategic sense. What does he say? إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى. Except in pursuit of the face, which means pleasure, contentment, of His most high Lord, Al-A'la, His most supreme Lord. By mentioning the ulya, the height, the elevation of Allah, what is it contrasting with? The lowering of ourselves. The one who has a lot of wealth feels what about themselves? High. Once they understand Allah is Al-A'la, then they become Al-Asfal, they become the lowest. They lower themselves. So this is an ayah of humility. All I want is my supreme Lord, my supreme master to be pleased with me. Ibtigha means to seek out and to demand. And also it means to rebel. Baghi comes from the same word. Imam Raghib combines the two meanings and says, you seek it so badly, you cross all the limits in trying to get it. You go beyond the norm to try and get it. What is it that you're going beyond the norm to try to get? The face of your master, the contentment, the smile of your master. SubhanAllah. إِلَّا ابْتِغَاءَ وَجْهِ رَبِّهِ الْأَعْلَى. And finally, and by the way, the ibtigha'a is mansub, the fatha and the ibtigha'. It has three interpretations. I won't go into the grammar too much. بِالنَّصْبَ عَلَى الْإِسْتِثْنَاء الْمُنْقَطَعِ لِعَدْمِ اندراجه تحت جنس النعمة. What that simply means is that fatha indicates it is the only reason for pursuit. That's the only reason they gave. There was no other motive, and it was the exclusive motive, and that's the fatha. That's what the benefit of the fatha is. Another benefit of the fatha is it could be maf'ulun lahu. Maf'ulun lahu. What that means is it is because of that pursuit that they gave. Meaning they were pursuing Allah through prayer and through other good deeds, and they figured, what's another really easy way I can get really close to His pleasure? And they started giving. That's another interpretation of just that fatha, that nasb state of ibtigha'a in the ayah. And finally we conclude, وَلَا سَوْفَ يَرْضَى. Ibn Kathir rahimahullah says, وَلَا سَوْفَ يَرْضَى مَنِ اتَّصَفَ بِهَذِهِ الصِّفَاتِ. The one who acquires the properties, the attributes, the characteristics that have been described just now in this surah, this person will truly, very, very soon be very content. This world is all about being content. Why do people run after money? They'll be content. Why? What's going to make you so content? It'll be that car, it'll be that house, it'll be that wedding, it'll be those clothes, it'll be something you think that's going to make you content. Allah says, you develop this, I'll give you that what you're running after. You're really not running after money in reality. Allah is teaching us, what are you really running after? Contentment. You just want to be happy. And you think money is going to make you happy. And Allah is teaching you something more. You do this, you seek Allah's face, and I'll give you that what you're running towards. وَلَا سَوْفَ يَرْضَى. Similarly, Allah says, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنَّ الْقُلُوبِ. Know that by remembering Allah, the hearts attain satisfaction. Hearts will be at unrest until they attain the remembrance of Allah. Then they will be finally tranquil, satisfied. The itch is gone. The restlessness is gone. Subhanallah. وَلَا سَوْفَ يَرْضَى. The lam, two more comments and we're done with the surah inshallah ta'ala. The lam is actually, in the Arabic language, can be used to illustrate an oath that hasn't even been said. Meaning, وَلَا سَوْفَ يَرْضَى, according to Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, even says, وَتَاللَّهِ لَسَوْفَ يَرْضَى بِمَا نُعْطِيهِ مِنَ الْكِرَامَةِ وَالْجَزَاءِ الْعَظِيمِ. And I swear by Allah that He will soon be very, very pleased because of what we give Him from the honor and nobility and the most noble and beautiful of rewards. But the meaning, Tallahi, I truly swear by Allah, is understood when you just begin with La. Allah doesn't just say, وَسَوْفَ يَرْضَى, He says, وَلَا سَوْفَ يَرْضَى. What's the benefit of swearing? You swear when somebody doesn't believe you. Allah says, believe it, you will be happy. I'm telling you, you'll be happy. Why do you talk like that? When somebody says, I don't know, what I'm running after is making me pretty happy, I think. This person needs to be told, I'm telling you, I swear to you, you will be content. You won't have any other desires. You will not be in any unrest. You will find tranquility in yourself. وَلَا سَوْفَ يَرْضَى.